The point I want to make is this. Everything that was created was in the mind of God. When God said, let there be light, he spoke to what was in his mind. And when God spoke to what was in his mind, it became a reality. Because it was already in his mind. Am I preaching? Ask your neighbor, what's in your mind? Talk to what's in your mind. Verse 6.
And God said,
let
there be a firmament in the midst
of the water,
and let it divide the waters.
And let it divide the water. All of this again, God saw in his mind. And what he saw, what was in his mind, he spoke again to his mind, and he said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the water, and let it divide the water from the waters. God saw in his mind dry land and sea. And so when God saw this in his mind, he spoke to what was in his mind. I'm going to preach after a while if y'all let me. Touch your neighbor, said it's time to talk to what's in your mind. Don't you let the devil put mess in your mind and you don't talk to that foolishness. Here God said you heal, and the devil put in your mind you're going to die with that condition. If that's what in your mind, that's what's going to happen. God, I feel like preaching. Verse 9.
And God said, let the waters under the heaven
be
gathered together in one place.
And
let the dry land appear.
Again, all of this was in his mind. He saw this in his mind. Verse 11.
And God said,
let
the earth bring forth grass, and the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind.
But all of this was in the mind of God. I wish I had somebody to give him a praise. Touch your neighbor again and say, all of this was in the mind of God. No, say it. Say, all of this was in the mind of God. And then touch your neighbor head. Don't push him, just touch him. And say, what's in your mind? I come to tell you, my mind is telling me I'm a survivor. My mind is telling me I'm an overcomer. My mind is telling me I've got the victory. My mind is telling me what I'm going through, it ain't gonna last forever. My mind is telling me I'm healed. I wish I had some praises. My mind is telling me no weapon that is formed against me gonna prosper. So I don't care what anybody says. I've got it in my mind that I'm coming out of this. And if it's in my mind, my tongue shall speak it. I feel like talking to the church. You got to first have it in your mind. Oh God, I wish I was talking to 5% who got victory in your mind, who already see yourself out. Touch your neighbor and say, if it's in your mind. See, first you got to form it in your mind. You can't go to New York until your mind been to New York. I wish I had a praise. Somebody give him a praise here. Your mind, when you arrive in New York, your mind already been there. When you arrive in Miami, your mind done been there. You done see yourself shopping. Can I get a witness here? When you go to college, your mind have already been on the school campus. Lord, I wish I had a witness. Ask your neighbor what you're using your tongue for. You've got to use that tongue to speak what's in your mind, to speak life. Somebody to give God the praise. I don't care who prophesy against you, who wake or be against you. Witchcraft can't wake on me. It's already in my mind that I'm the righteousness of God. It's already in my mind that I'm delivered. It's already in my mind that my body is healed. I don't care what I feel. I'm going to speak what's in my mind. I feel like preaching. Do I have a church? Shake somebody's hand and say, get it in your mind that you're coming out. Verse 27. Give me a minute to work this. What 27 says.
So God created man in his own image.
So God
created man
in
his own image.
In his own image.
In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them.
Where God had this image? Apostle Fowler, where God had his image. You think God just scrap you up and put you here? He already had in his mind what man gonna look like and what woman gonna look like. I wish I had some church here. Somebody give God the praise. That's why I got to give him a praise here, because I'm wonderfully and beautifully made. Can I have a witness? You don't have to be a cross dresser. Somebody help me. God already had it in mind what you was going to look like. High five somebody and tell him he had me in his mind when God created me. That's why I'm black and I'm proud about it. I don't have to bleach. I don't have to try to change my color. I'm the way God wants me to be. And so what I'm going to do now, Clem, is use my tongue to speak what God always had on his mind. Somebody give God a praise. I ain't just trying to act rich. In the mind of God, I'm prospering. I wish I had a praise here. I wasn't sent here for nobody to abuse me. In the mind of God, I wasn't being abused. God, I feel like preaching here. I'm not going to let nobody talk down to me and treat me like trash. In the mind of God, I'm a prince. I'm a king. I'm royalty. In the mind of God, I feel like preaching, Brother Hannah. I'm the best you got. In the mind of God. So you ain't gonna play church politics and trying to make me feel bad. I'm not just an apostle before my mama. Can I preach like I feel? While I was still in my daddy's seed, God had me in his mind to be an apostle. So when my pa ejaculated in my ma, do I have a witness? Something was special about that. And God says,
behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed.
Behold, I've given every herb bearing seed,
which is upon the face of all the earth. And every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat.
It was in the mind of God that I have sufficient food to eat. It was in the mind of God. Boy, I wish I could have preached this. That I have no lack. It was in the mind of God that I were able to pay my bills. It was in the mind of God that I live in the best home, drive the best cars. Somebody ain't gonna say nothing. It was in the mind of God that I don't work hard. That's why God made preparation to take care of me. It was in the mind of God that I don't beg you for nothing. It was in the mind of God that I don't struggle to make ends meet. My God, can I preach this in Texas? Because somebody gonna get this. Melvin knows it was in the mind of God. God didn't want you to die sad, die lonely, die by yourself. When I saw me in the mind of God, I wasn't getting all miserable. I was enjoying life, Hannah. Well, if that's how it was in the mind of God, what did my tongue do to bring this mess on me? Ask your neighbor, what did your tongue do? Come on, Bishop. What did your tongue do? Bad marriage? That wasn't in the mind of God. Who speak that on me? How did Daddy Case get on me? Daddy in the grave. And people and speak that mess on me. You're going to be just like your pa. You ain't never going to find no man to love you. That's what your ex spoke on you. And no man going to treat you better than me. And you know he treats you like a dog. And you leave his presence thinking you can't do better than him. How did you let your ex spoke that on you? And you leave the present saying, I couldn't do no better than her. Maybe she was the best thing that ever happened to me. No, no, ask yourself, is she what God had in his mind? Is he what God had in his mind? Chapter 2, verse 19. What it says.
And out of the ground the Lord God formed every beast.
And out of the ground the Lord God formed every beast of the field.
And every fowl of the air.
Watch this, and every fowl of the air.
And brought them unto Adam.
What this? Could not God name them? But in his mind, he wanted to give man the power to call it what he wanted. He wanted to give man the power to use his tongue. He brought it to Adam.
To see what he would call them.
To see what Adam would call them.
And whatsoever Adam called them, living creature.
Wait a minute, I will shout right here. Whatsoever Adam called every living creature.
That was the name thereof.
What are you calling that sickness on you? Somebody give God a praise. High five the neighbor and say, what you call it? What are you calling it? Because God said, whatever you call it, that's what it is. Yeah, you walk to the doctor and the doctor said it's cancer. Said, thank you, doctor, that's what you see, but I see a miracle. Somebody give God a praise. You see cancer, but I see a miracle. Some of y'all ain't gonna give God the praise. Yeah, doctor, you see me never having a child, but I see 4 babies. Somebody give God a praise. Yeah, doctor, you see me dying, but I see me to good old age. Somebody give God a praise. Thank you, doctor. This thing may kill my mama. It may be generic, but the buck stopped right here. Because God didn't have it in his mind to wipe out my family with cancer. Somebody to give him a praise. I wish I had me a sanctified church. Use your tongue. Use your tongue to call stuff. I need a shouting church. Use your tongue to speak things that are not as though they were.